Welcome back to the Iowa Chill Show. It is October 21st. I'm Nathan Creeps, joined by my co-host Bryce Borscheller, and I want everybody fired at the University of Iowa. I need to find out how many credit hours I need to take to become the next athletic director, replace Beth Getz, love her, but I need to go in there and get the job done and get Kirk Ferentz removed from this football program and start Brendan Sullivan over Cade McNamara, and Phil Parker needs to spank it in the butt.
Is that all you have to say today?
We got a lot more to say, but we'll get to that later in the podcast. Outside of sports, man, how was your
It
weekend?
was great. I had a very nice birthday weekend. It's kind of funny when you get older, you don't want a whole lot for your birthday. I asked Darian if I could go golfing, if I could gamble on sports and have a couple good meals, and it turned out to be a great 29th.
You want absolutely nothing more than that nowadays. I'm gonna be 30 here in May, and I'm
Yeah.
absolutely terrified. So don't even wish me happy birthday. I don't want to be acknowledged for it whatsoever. The 29th birthday is about the last one you can acknowledge. Maybe the dirt you want to do a dirty 30. I don't know. We'll see where I'm at in life. See where Hawkeye football takes me for the remainder of the season if I'm still around here on the face of the earth come May 13th. That's good. You hit any bets?
I did. What's funny is I was up at one point like $100, and then I am exactly where I started by the end of the weekend. And part of that is definitely because I'm betting all the bets that we put in our bet slip on Mondays of this pod. And if you're following along with our track record, it's not very good. So I was up at one point. Now I'm kind of back to even.
Yeah, I'm exact same boat. We took Nebraska last week. Foolish of us. Indiana laughed at us on that one. But I did go 2 for 3. Had no wait,
We
yeah, I
had
had
Tennessee,
Tennessee
and we hit that one.
and we had Illinois.
Yep.
Should have hammered Illinois, my
I
lord.
know Michigan is
You
not
see their
good, and Alabama, like we said, is not as good as everyone thought.
No, definitely not. They gave up 30 straight points to Georgia. Georgia took care of business in Austin this weekend too.
Yep, they did. Yep. There's not very many remaining teams. One of them is the team we're repping on our shirts today. Um, not very many 7-0 teams anymore. Texas is not maybe who we thought they were. Iowa State does end up dropping in the rankings, but they do go unblemished, and for that reason, they deserve a little representation today. Which Iowa State shirt you wearing today?
Oh, you know what? Some basketball one maybe. Some March Madness.
Uh,
I got a Shields on
Okay, does it
discount.
say a year on there?
I don't think so. No,
Okay,
2024.
yeah. Hey, yeah, those clones deserve a little representation. They got the job done. It wasn't pretty, and I know we'll get into that later, but it's just good to be 7-0 and have something to cheer for because it's not going to be the Hawkeyes, it seems like.
Yeah, no, survive in advance, and who cares about the rankings right now? Whether if they 9 or 10, win out, you'll get the job done. You'll be right where you need to be at the end of the season. Outside of sports, your boy got in the tractor
I
this
saw that.
weekend.
How was Harvest?
Beautiful. We ran into a little hiccup Sunday morning. Combine was shut down for the day. So in old Iowa fashion, we made the most of our day on the farm. We took some tannerite, blew it up with some rifles from about 300 yards out. Your boy still
I
got the
saw
dead
that.
eye.
Yeah, you had some great aim.
The wife
Madison too.
the wife will
Madison was
say
shooting the guns
otherwise.
as well.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, yep.
Hey, that's
We all blew up some tannerite
that's
this
making the
week.
most of a unfortunate situation. So what does that look like? Are you going to be able to get the job done?
Yeah, they'll
Okay.
finish up. He's real close to finishing up here. It's gonna be early harvest this year. He said with the late planting due to all the rain going on in springtime, he's like, man, there's no way I'll finish by early. No way I'll finish before Halloween. Here he is gonna be done a
Yeah,
week
it's been so
before.
dry. Feels like that's going to
So
be good for, and it looks like maybe another good weekend coming up. So all prayers up for the Shattuck family. It sounds like they're going to be able to get their harvest done.
yeah, so we do some tannerite explosives, and then we hopped in the Yellow Rangers. Went to Protivin, Iowa.
Okay, what's up in Protivin?
And went to the bar to watch El the place bar, sports bar. We watched the Green Bay Packers, a little bit of Minnesota Vikings, and then watched that till about halftime. Then we just did some dirt road traveling,
Nice.
brother.
Yeah, just that New
Just
Hampton living.
good. It was so good to get away from that football.
It was a tough
Man,
weekend for
I had
me.
no connection.
The Hawks lost. You and
Yeah,
I got beat by 24, I think. My Vikings lost on a last second field goal. Not very fun for my fandom.
yeah. The Purple People Eaters finally gave one up, and I kind of figured this would be
Yeah.
the weekend.
Yep. Lions look great. Good for Detroit. That city needs it more than anyone.
Other than that, man, yeah, I'm excited for this upcoming weekend. I think we're gonna have like 70-degree day. So what we talked about last episode, if it was gonna be anything cold with the costumes that you and I are wearing, we're gonna be absolutely
Yeah.
screwed.
Yep. This Friday I will be wearing. It's kind of hard to explain. I don't want to give it completely up because you'll see it next week on the pod, but I will be sleeveless and the costume is not very thick. So I'm kind of thankful for a 65-degree day. Otherwise, I'd be in trouble.
As of now, I'm shirtless.
Interesting. So
I do need to go find something to kind of make up for the bearskin look to cover me because I don't know if the bars will let my nipples slide
no, you'll
around.
probably be able to get away with that at the pre-party if Madison allows. We'll see if that even applies. But that's going to be tough to pull off in the bar scene. I know
If there's anyone that could do it, it's gonna be
it's
me.
true. You do have a way with the bouncers and the bartenders. So I know you have a mustache and you have a potential shirtless option. I'm kind of curious to see what that's going to be.
There's no more
All
clues.
right, that's all we get.
Bryce, let's jump into our Iowa fact of the day. This one, I don't believe this one. If you were to guess how many deer are in Iowa, what are you thinking?
So the pig stat is something like 7 pigs to every one person, or it might even be more these days. Deer, I'm going to go 3-1. So I'm going to go 9 million.
Think there's
I
9
think there's
million?
9 mil.
There's 450,000
okay.
deer in
Interesting.
Iowa. And that's more than I thought there was going to be.
Okay. So I'm thinking, when you say, well, maybe you don't say that. You say that about rabbits and their reproduction habits. I just figured that, with all the deer hitting cars these days, that there would be a ton of them. And I guess 450 is nothing to, laugh at.
Well, back in 1936, there was only about 700 deer in Iowa. And then we moved to the year 1950. The population grew to 13,000 deer in Iowa. Now we're all the way up to 450,000 deer.
Interesting. And now it's like, please go out and hunt because there's so many.
See, you thought you would see the reverse effect with modern technology and all these cars and semis, and more roads and everything, taking out these deer because deer are very suicidal here. And so good for them. They survived the car attacks. They moved past it, and they're finding a way to repopulate.
Yeah, good for deer. I've always heard that Iowa has some of the best deer hunting in the whole nation, especially southern Iowa. I've never been a deer hunter myself. I don't know if you've gotten into that within the last couple of years, but it always sounds like a lot of fun, and it sounds like we're in like one of the best areas to do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get making my debut this winter. It sounds
Nice. Bow
like
hunting or rifle? Okay,
muzzle.
cool.
Yep,
Nice. That'll be fun.
I've never shot one. Never shot the gun. We were gonna do a little bit of practice this last week, but they said this one would throw me in cold turkey when
Love
it
it.
comes
Well,
time.
it seems like your gun performance is kind of right where it needs to be.
Yeah, I don't want any more practice than what I have right now. It's a patience thing. Can I be patient enough for that buck to turn the corner? And when it comes, will I be composed enough to pull the trigger and take the
Maybe
guy's
by
life?
like mid basketball season, you have like a 10-pointer hanging up behind R2D2 back there.
Yeah, we got one downstairs, but that's Madison's. But I know when I get my first kill, I'm going to become addicted. And then, do I become a serial killer?
No. I think you'll be
You don't
fine.
think so?
If anything, I think it'll be
Okay.
kind of a nice like coming of age moment for you. I think if you go into hunting with that Native American mindset, you're hunting for food, you're hunting to honor the animal. I think you'll be fine. I don't worry about Jeffrey Dahmer with you.
Do you like deer sausage?
Love it. The
Oh
last
God,
time I
it's
had
so
it was
good.
your old neighbor at Colby's old place on Lauren
Oh
Drive.
yeah.
That was some good deer sausage.
Yeah, I got a neighbor that I got a coworker that always brings deer sausages in for the people. And as soon as that thing comes in, if you don't get your slice right away, you're not getting it because it ain't lasting throughout the rest
Yeah.
of the day. And it's got like pepper jack in
Okay.
it, jalapeno pepper jack. It's so good. God, I want some. I gotta get there, start killing some
Sounds
deer
good. I
right
was
now.
going to say you better have a good aim come deer season because that sounds awesome right now.
Hit me with Bryce. So last week we did a fun segment. You had me comparing
Yes.
if Batman had more money than Tony Stark. I was completely off on that. I've been asking everybody all week at work. I'm like, who do you think has more money? Most people went with Tony Stark, but I kind of gave my theory that Batman has some hidden money somewhere. He does. And then it kind of jumped a little bit on my side of the bow. So I think you got something similar again
We
for this
got
week.
you. We got episode 2 of Character Melee. Are you ready for this segment? It's going to be a little different. Last week we went almost all fictional characters. This week we're going to do a Who's Older edition. And it's going to be mostly, I believe, all realistic characters until the bonus question. You ready for question 1?
I got my rally cap on. Let's do this.
Question 1. Who is older, Devin Booker or Jack Harlow?
That's a tough question,
this
bro.
is a toughie to start.
Give me Devin Booker.
You're right. By 1 year. Devin Booker is 27 and Jack Harlow is 26.
Yeah, tough.
I mean, now it seems like Devin Booker's been in the league a little bit longer. So if I would have been posed that question, I think that's what I would have gone with. But I mean, they're very close in age. This one is going to be interesting. Question 2 is more so. There's more of an age gap, but it's going to be tough. Jimmy Fallon or Matthew McConaughey? Who's older?
Jimmy Fallon. No. Matthew
McConaughey.
McConaughey. Yeah.
Yep. Fallon is 50. He's been hosting the late night show for a decade and a half, but McConaughey is older by 4 years. 54 for McConaughey.
Okay.
All right. Question 3. Charles Barkley or Snoop Dogg?
God, Chuck is old, but Snoop looks like a
He looks
dinosaur.
old. And he's been in the rap game for
Gotta
30
be
years.
Snoop, right? It's a trick question, dude. NBA players are always so much older than you think they are. So I'm gonna go trick. I'm gonna go Chuck.
Yeah. Yep. Barkley is 61, and it's not even close. Snoop Dogg's 52. The rap game ages you quick.
Oh man, Snoop. Shit.
All right. The last of the older questions. Who's older, Kevin Hart or Tom Brady?
Kevin Hart.
Tom Brady is 47 and Kevin Hart is 45.
Well, I knew it. All athletes are older than you think they are. I said it as the last guess. I should have stuck with it that time. TB12 is.
I tried to trip you up there because TB12 just looks so much younger these days with all the Botox and the hair stuff he's doing, and he looks like he's getting younger every year. Yep, Kevin Hart, been in the game a long time as well, but only 45. Okay. Bonus question. Who is taller, Plankton from SpongeBob or the standard size golf tee?
Give me Plankton just because of the little antenna things he got on top
Okay,
of his
I'm
head.
not sure if they include antennas, but if you do include antennas, he probably would be taller. The standard size golf tee is 2.75 inches, and Plankton is a mere 2 inches. He's just a little guy.
Okay. I'm okay with losing that one.
No,
I feel good about
overall, you did a really good job, and it was another fun segment. Well done, Nate.
Yeah, would I go 4 for or 3 for 5
3 for 5. Yep.
I think we only had 4 questions last week.
Yep, I gave you a little bonus this week.
So 75% last week and about 60-ish. Okay. All right, not bad. I'll take it. As long as I'm above 500, I feel good about it.
Yeah, these were not easy, and there was definitely some trip-up questions. I think you did a great job. That Tom Brady one's tough just because, like you said, athletes, especially I feel like you and I, we pay attention to sports a lot more than probably the general pop culture. And it just feels like some of these guys have been in the league forever. And it's like, oh, yeah, they're really old, but they look decent because they've been keeping themselves in good shape.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, what an eventful week it was here in the state of Iowa. But before we get into that, we do got some Iowa news, obviously, for you. But this is more on a personal news for me. When's the last time you've been to Texas Roadhouse?
Oh, probably within the last year.
And you were able to get a spot.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. There's so many restaurants in Des Moines, dude. Like unless you're going to a brand new restaurant opening, you can usually get a spot anywhere. But yeah, it's always busy. I'll say that. Did you have some tough times getting into Texas Roadhouse?
Oh, you can't even try anymore in Cedar Falls. It's unbelievable. I've been trying for 3 years to get a spot there at Texas Roadhouse, whether if I go on a Monday at 4 or 5 in the afternoon or Saturday. It doesn't matter what time you go there. The wait is always 2 hours. It's unbelievable.
I'm sorry, man. That's
where these
too
cars
bad.
come from, where these people come from.
Because when you're in the mood for Texas Roadhouse, you really want it. And I feel bad for anyone that doesn't get that combo they're looking for. I'm personally a steak and shrimp guy. I don't know what you go for, but
I remember back in college. I don't know if you were part of the gang at that point, but it's pretty early on. We did a Texas roll challenge.
No, I don't think I was there for that.
I think a group of 4 of us put down about 30 of them.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever attempt
No,
that
but
challenge?
I've been a part of a group that's put down a few baskets of rolls. That's no doubt.
Yeah, shout out to Moss, man. We started dipping them in that water at some point, and that's back when you could get a
Yeah.
spot.
Yeah. And probably when they
Yeah,
still did like
that
that peanut thing. You used to be able to do peanuts on just throw those shells on the
oh, yeah.
floor. Things have changed since COVID,
Mhm.
but
Man, it's too bad because I love it so much. I always get the road the roadkill steak,
oh, nice.
and I dip it in mashed potatoes and
Hmm.
gravy. Oh, god, and I get put a little couple beans on it, and it's such a sad, sad thing because I just don't have the pay if I was smart, I would do pre-order and pick it up, but I want the experience of going to the Texas Roadhouse, and I just can't get it.
Yeah. Hey, I'm sorry
And
about that. And I truly think it's one of those things where like you have a couple options in Cedar Falls. It's Main Street or that Sakura Roadhouse area.
yeah, so we have been getting Sakura pickup lately. We don't try to sit down there either. It's just too much
It's
madness right
a
there,
lot
and
going
those
on.
two restaurants being too close to each other. And I always see people walk up from Sakura, go down to Texas. Oh, we'll try
Yep.
Texas Roadhouse, and then they walk right back. Not a
Yep.
damn chance. You're
Hey,
getting
I'm
it.
sorry. I hope you get
So
that soon.
I know I'm just gonna have to do the pickup order, but it is what it is. I'm dying for the roadkill. So a teenager here and outside of Oskaloosa called the Russell Wildlife Area. I believe this is in your neck of the woods. Have you heard of
It's
this?
close to where I grew up. I have not heard about maybe what you're talking about. What is it?
So a teenager named Oscar went to catch some bass in the Russell Wildlife Area in New Sharon, but instead of catching one, he caught 20 jellyfish instead.
What the hell? What's going on there?
These jellyfish that he caught are native to the Yangtze River in China.
Okay. Oh,
And how does that happen?
I'm not sure exactly, but I wonder if it's one of those
You
invasive
know something
species things
about it.
because I know that there's a similar Yangtze River invasive species in the Des Moines River and close to where like we would go fishing. So I almost wonder if it's one of those things. Do you know the details? Like, was it in the article?
No, that's all the information I
God, that's
got.
so interesting. Every once in a while
Can they? I want to.
you'll get stuff like swimming up from the Gulf of Mexico and the Mississippi River, and you'll get like sharks and stuff. But never heard of jellyfish. That's so interesting.
I didn't know they were freshwater. They could be freshwater species.
Yeah, some of those guys have talents and they can do both, but that seems so odd. I want to know more about that story
I,
now.
I wonder. Yeah, I wonder if these ones can sting you,
Oh, definitely.
or if they're like a jellyfish species without the tentacles that can sting you.
Gosh, that's so cool. I need to look into that more. That's very interesting. But that it always makes me wonder, like, who's bringing it here and how, like, what was that life of the travel for the jellyfish?
I know that's what I want to figure out. Did it somehow slip out of the Yangtze River and evolved into something that could do
Right.
freshwater, saltwater, and floated its way through the Pacific, through the Panhandle, up the
Yeah.
Mississippi to the Des Moines River, got picked up and brought into New Sharon,
Yeah,
Iowa.
yeah. That's always a thing too. Like when you bring your boat somewhere, they say like stop invasive hitchhikers or whatever, because like things will get caught up in um, the motor and stuff, and like you'll drip it along the way, um, and then put your boat into your native water. And gosh, it's so freaking interesting. I never understand how that stuff survives when it's not in the water. But hey, jellyfish in Iowa, that's sweet.
So that was in the lakes. There's something crazy going on in the air in Iowa's roadways. US 218, also known as 380, but when it becomes 218, it gets south of Cedar Rapids. A man
Yep.
flying a bi-wing plane, ran out of fuel and had to do an emergency landing on 218
I
Saturday.
actually saw that on the Iowa Chill channels this week, and it's crazy. You know what it kind of reminds me of is the Sullivan, the Soli pilot.
Exactly.
It's so impressive. Like, first of all, happy that he made it out safe. It sounds like he's okay. But always so impressive when a pilot can maneuver like that without fuel.
What are you thinking if you're I don't know the details. Like you said, everybody came out safe. There seemed to be no crazy accidents. But what are you doing if you're
Oh
a
man,
car and you're traveling on 218? You see it. Here comes a plane coming right at you.
you know what?
I mean, the balls you have to do. I'm sure he's kind of spaced it out in a way. He's like, God, there's a nice gap of
Yeah,
cars. But what if there wasn't?
yeah. Then you're
Where do
really
you go
screwed.
with?
It like just a busy day on the interstate or whatever. But you know what I would think as a driver in that situation? It's a crop duster. and it's too late for that. But it'd be like, oh, like is somebody just driving it around for fun kind of thing? Because it's not uncommon for a crop duster to fly over the road when you're driving in the
Right.
Midwest. But man, that is so. It's one impressive, scary for anyone that was close when he landed. But yeah, happy everyone's okay. It seems like at least.
Yeah. Good thing it wasn't a terror attack. Is that I wouldn't be thinking the same thing either. So yeah, I don't know. I see it all the time when I'm driving for my job. I see planes because I drive through next to a bunch of airports that happen to be right next to the
Yeah.
roads. You
Yep.
might be thinking this one might have been close to the Iowa City airport because I know that airport is right off
Right.
218.
True.
I wonder how close he was to that. But no, they just filled him back up and said, okay, we'll push him to the side for a couple hours. Once he got gas, they sent him on his way. Did he
Yeah.
just
So
they have to stop traffic again? Like, all right, we're gonna let this dude take off on the interstate real quick.
that's what they did. They didn't tow him away or anything. They let him fly away.
No, dude, he just flew right
Interesting.
off.
Hmm. That's a crazy, those are
Uh,
two crazy stories. One, Jellyfish in Iowa. Two, we have a guy taking off from 218.
yeah, to me it sounds like everyone was just pretty chill about it. Oh yeah, no big deal. We'll get you some gas. We'll have you just take off again.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if everyone's okay, it's not that big a
Fuck,
deal, I guess. I mean, guy has plenty of runway.
that'd be so sweet if you're driving on other interstate.
Oh,
Like,
he's
whoa,
taking off.
here it comes. This is landing on that thing, or it's just taking off
Oh,
another
that's
way.
sweet.
But shout out to him. Shout out to him. I'm glad he made it back
Yeah.
safe. Live to tell another day, and I wanted to find out who this pilot is. We have not Iowa news here. Do you remember a couple of weeks ago the Kansas State fan that had to shove the burrito
Yep.
up him?
Yep. Yep. I do.
There was another crazy bet out here. A Florida State fan put out Saturday morning that if his team loses to Duke, he will eat
Oh
dog shit.
God.
And
And Florida State is not very
why are you
good. Yeah,
making
I
this
mean, this
bet?
is not the year to be
You
betting
know,
on Florida State.
and here's the thing: like, why they're doing? See, when I did the bet, I did if Iowa beats Ohio State, I will do the Carolina Reaper. I ain't set myself up for the double disaster. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Your life's already low because your team lost, and now you have to do something even
Yeah.
more
Yeah, yours is
fouling.
painful, but it's not eating dog shit. That's for sure.
And I'm assuming you haven't seen the video.
No,
The
I
guy
don't know
did
if I
it.
will be watching that. That sounds insane.
No, yeah, don't watch it. Don't tune into it. But he did lose the bet. But credit to him, he owned up to it. I don't know why people keep doing this. This is getting crazy this year. I going for the burrito up the butt to people eating dog poop. I scared to find out what the next
I
bet
know.
is
It's
going to
like
be.
Lieutenant Dan, the guy that was hanging out in Hurricane Milton. Anyone will do anything these days to get a little TikTok viral. And it's getting scary. Like, at what point do we just say, all right, wave the white flag. We're done doing these challenges because it's going to get weird and people are going to start getting sick.
And there's 100% chance your team's going to lose when you post
Mhm.
that. This is what you're going to do
Oh
when your
yeah, if
team
I'm
loses.
scrolling Twitter the week before I play a big opponent and just to see what people are saying they have to do, and it's an opponent that fires me up. I want to see that guy that doubted us eat that dog shit.
It's a
Mhm.
kiss of death. All right, I do want to jump into Iowa
Okay.
here first. Bryce, I've done a lot of disgusting things in my life, but I've done nothing more sick or fouling and disturbing than making my in-laws Hawkeye fans.
You made a grave
They
mistake,
used to
Nate.
be they used to be so innocent, nonchalant, neutral between Iowa State, didn't really care. Green Bay Packer fans,
Man,
and then I come in their family and I ruin their life.
they were living the good life
I'm
before you. Lots of success with the
I
Packers.
so we got done. We got done harvesting. Came back, got showered up, grabbed some beer. We're gonna go to a small town, Lawler, Iowa, to go to the bar to watch the game. And I got done dressing. I come up in my Hawkeye jacket, thinking nobody else is gonna be wearing their Hawkeye fans, and they're all decked out in their Hawkeye gear. And I'm looking at myself like, what have I done? And brought them right to the bar. It was just a terrible experience. It was so bad at halftime. I said, okay, we got to switch. We got to go back to the household. So I made everybody leave the fun bar to go back to the household, just be even more miserable.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. It was not good. And can I say something? I turned it off. I watched
Yeah.
Iowa State instead. There was a lot of good 6:30 games. Iowa State versus UCF, which ended up being close, and I know we'll talk about that in a second. Georgia and Texas, which ended up being kind of a blowout. But I wanted to watch anything other than Iowa.
I obviously we know Cade's not the dude. We want Kirk. Things aren't going to change with Kirk Ferentz
No.
at the helm. the most disappointing part of the season is the defense. Michigan State scored every single drive but
Mhm.
two,
Dude, we forced 4
but two
punts in the
drives.
last 3 games. Have
That's
you seen that
terrifying.
stat? It's like 2 versus Ohio State, 1 versus Washington, and 1 last weekend. It's just awful, and it's
Yeah.
something we've come to expect from Iowa is good defense, good punting. We can't get the guys off the field.
We always ask the question was, what will happen when Iowa's defense goes from elite to average?
Yeah, we're starting to see it, aren't we?
And we're living in our worst nightmare right now. A struggling Michigan State team comes out, and I've never seen a team so confidently just keep moving the ball down the field. It's so frustrating, God. Do you do you take this year's team or do you take last year's team that had an elite defense?
Last year's games were so boring to watch, but we still won them. And as much as we bitch and complain about Iowa, the one thing that we could count on was a 9-3, 8-4 season where it might be ugly, but we're going to win those games we're supposed to. It's starting to look like we're not going to win games we're supposed to. I think I'd rather have last year's team.
I agree. You just knew when the defense marched out there, like, oh, nice, they might get one first down at most, and then they're putting the ball and giving it right
Yeah, I
back
mean,
to us.
it's.
And all we need is one lucky
Mhm.
play. And I tell you what, the absence of Tory Taylor, well, Reese Dakin's kind of done his job, but the absence of Cooper DeJean is absolutely murdering
Yeah.
us right now. What do we have? Three cornerbacks, John Nestor, Lee tried to take his spot, and they picked on those three souls all day long and got absolutely
Yeah.
torched.
Yep. Anybody that has a decent wide receiver duo is just going to shred us. Our D backs have been an absolute liability. Another thing that we've come to expect is almost NFL caliber defensive backs, and we clearly don't have those. So it's just getting scary. I mean, we're putting up more points, but I like a defense when you put them out there. You're almost guaranteeing bend don't break, lots of turnovers. It's getting scary.
D line's getting no push. We're not able to get to the quarterback. Jamari Harris has done his job on the side of
Mhm.
the field, but Michigan State plays it well. The first play of the game, they'll maybe move it to the right side of the field, make Jamari Harris on the short side of the field, open it up on the left side of the field where John Nestor or Lee are there in their own
Right.
island and they're screwed. And then Aiden Childs tore them apart. Correct to Michigan State's O coordinator and the quarterback for making plays. We have a 5-6 year vet and quarterback that still doesn't seem to know the mechanics of how to throw a football off his back heel, and we have a freshman quarterback for Michigan
Mm.
State torching
I
us
saw Hassel and Williams talking about this. Why does Cade throw without the laces?
because he's. I hate
Like
him.
that's something you
I'm
do
mad at him right
if
now.
you are throwing 30 touchdowns a season and leading your team. Like I'm not going to complain about anything if you're winning games, but at this point it's kind of like when you have a bad girlfriend. Every little thing's going to get on your nerves. And right now, Cade, use the laces. Throw off your front foot. No more fadeaways. Like everything he does right now is just pissing me off.
And it's the same thing for Kirk. There's no QB controversy. He just announced that the other day. I mean that's exactly what we expected him to say. Do you have Iowa has nothing to play for the rest of the season?
No.
Nothing. Throw in the quarterback that's going to be the face of the program for the next year. Give him a chance. Start building him now because we hear him. We hear Kirk defend his quarterbacks all the time. Well, he's not football ready yet. Make your guy football ready now. Throw him in. That way, he's prepared for next season.
I was going to say, and that doesn't necessarily apply to a guy like Sullivan, who I believe played a full year for Northwestern last year. That
Right,
doesn't make any
and which he
sense to
did.
me. Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm down
I,
for anything at this point. I want to see something like the defensive struggles. I think are going to have to be there. Obviously we just don't have the guys there this year. But can we try something? If can we go to shootout mode and try to compete with teams in the 30s and the 40s? Like at this point, I'd rather see that than not doing anything different at all.
and it's sad. We returned everybody from the defense last year, other than two players. And what's going on with them? Phil Parker. We talked about a few early games this year against Iowa State. We're like, oh, he'll correct it. He's not. He hasn't corrected anything.
No.
It, they're gashing us all day long. So I don't know. Phil, this is the first time I'll ever say this in your career. Bend over, and let me spank you. We got to figure something out.
Yeah.
You got Northwestern coming to town next week. They've been struggling. I think they'd have a big win against Maryland a couple weeks ago. Who Maryland just took down USC just last weekend. what we're going to see from the Big Ten outside the top 3 teams is cannibalism.
Yes. Yep. I think we said that maybe on one of the clips last week, but there's a lot of teams in the Big Ten that are going to trip you up, and there's definitely no easy games. Like even the bad teams at the bottom of the Big Ten have a chance to beat you. Like you said, Maryland beating USC, Washington beating Michigan, Illinois beating Michigan. It's a fun Big Ten season. It's just not very fun if you're going to be taking out the rear like the Hawks.
Iowa State. I'm officially a Cyclone fan. It's good to be home to the Jack Trice Cyclones. Another nail biter. They're not making it look pretty, but they're getting the job done, and that's all you got to do with this year with the cards they've been dealt with. Win the games you're supposed to win, something that they've never done in their program. Rocco Beck had a terrible start throwing INTs, letting UCF get up a double-digit lead, 2-score touchdown lead.
Mhm.
But credit to Rocco Beck. He put the game on his shoulders at the end with the final drive of the game. He's got legs on him, something Iowa does not have. Made the plays, and that's what they've done all season. Against Iowa, he made the plays to put his team in a position to win, and he took it all the way to the end zone, even with the 2-point conversion. You just got to tip your hat to Iowa State right
he's a
now.
gamer, and that's something obviously we don't have on the Hawkeye side of things. I jokingly said on Iowa Chill comments that Rocco is better than Purdy. Let's be clear here. That was satire. Rocco is not Brock Purdy, but what he is a winner. And consistently, Iowa State is finding a way to win games, even when they're down double-digit points. And that's probably the most impressive thing I've seen in the 7 wins so far, is that they're able to win games when the pressure's on. And that's going to serve them really, really well in the college football playoff.
Up next, they got a bye week. Iowa State's chilling. What a good time. I mean, this has got to be the peak of Iowa State athletic of all time.
Definitely.
Top 10 for each. We know we talked about this for the women's basketball, men's basketball, and now you're 7-0 moving into a bye week, and you're almost to November. Just keep doing it. It's
a good time to be a Cyclone. You got Audie Crooks coming up in women's basketball. I believe the men's basketball team is going to be good here in about a month. Your Iowa State Cyclones are kind of leading the state to glory right now, and it sucks. Well, I'm not even going to say that. Honestly, I am a Cyclone fan 364 days a year. I won't even put basketball in there because honestly, I'm always cheering for the best Iowa team to go as far as they can in the NCAA tournament. One day a year, I'm not a Cyclone fan. Otherwise, I can cheer for those guys.
Yeah, I've hopped on the bandwagon. I'm riding with them boys. Wherever they go to Afghanistan. I'm following.
Did you see that?
Going to war.
That's a bold statement coming from one of the most diehard Hawkeye fans I know.
Suit me up. I'm wherever Rocco Beck's going. I'll take a bullet for this man.
Did you see that they dropped in the rankings a little bit? By 1.
Yeah, no big surprise there. Like I said, that doesn't matter. Move to 7-0. Keep winning your thing. Their only job is just to win the Big 12. You get into the college football playoff. UCF is no bad team. They were predicted to be number 1 or number 2. I think in the preseason polls. Ran to a few humps, just like a lot of teams have with these new alignments of the conferences, not knowing really where you really sit. So I figured it would kind of be a close game, but I don't want to keep saying it because every time I say it, I'm wrong. I would say does it, but whatever. Like I said, just keep winning. That's what they did. I know they got Texas Tech coming home. I would say she'll be 8-0 moving forward.
You think so? Yeah. Good job, Cyclones. Keep it going.
All right. I went 2 for 3 last week. I can't remember where you went. But our 1 loss is enough to make our other 2 wins not look good.
No, the Nebraska bet was horrible. Nebraska looked way outmatched. And actually, because of that game, I put something in my bet slip for this week. I went 1 for 3. I think the only one I had was Tennessee covering 2.5 on Alabama, and that did hit. Nate, we even got called casuals on the Iowa Chill Show TikTok comments. And to be fair, I think they're correct. We haven't been terrible.
100. That's a compliment.
Okay. Well, hey, yeah. We'll take it. I'll take it on the chin. I have not been very
for
good.
How bad we've been. That's a compliment.
Truly. Like I've pretty much given losing bets every week outside of maybe 1 for 3 each week. But what do you got for your first lock of the week?
I think we're gonna have a similar lock here. I've seen enough from Indiana Hoosiers. That team is rolling in the right direction. I put the absolute ass spanking on the old Cornhuskers. And if Iowa can go in and beat Washington by 24 points. Give me Indiana at home to cover 6.5 against Washington. No
Yep.
problem. I think they cover almost
I think
20.
they cover
I mean, they're
at least
unstoppable.
10. I've got the 6.5 as well for my first bet.
Yeah.
Indiana looked so much better, both sides of the defense and offense. I think Indiana crushes Washington in this game.
That's one of my favorite
Yeah,
bets I've seen all season.
that seems like free money.
Number 2, I got Illinois to cover 21.5 versus Oregon. I've learned this year that Illinois is treating me
Mhm.
well. Don't bet against Illinois. They've covered against Penn State when I took them. They've done the money lines against Nebraska and Michigan now. I'm all on the Illini train.
Yep, I think that's safe. I purposely stayed away from this game because Oregon is one of those very few unblemished 7-0 teams, and I wanted to say that they, after beating Ohio State, they have what it takes to score 3 touchdowns and beat Illinois. I think that's too much. I think that's a great bet. I've got Penn State minus 6.5 instead. I like that game a lot against Wisconsin. Wisconsin looks kind of middle of the road. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I do think Penn State is the much better team.
Bryce, give me the Wisconsin Badgers to cover
Oh,
six and a
okay.
half against Penn
Okay.
State and Camp
Yeah.
Randall.
Hey, those are 2 of the remaining unbeatens on our bet slips, and I think that gets like really interesting. Like we'll see teams like Indiana that haven't been in this position very much. I feel better about Penn State in the long run than I do Indiana, but I like it. We'll see who comes out on top there, and at least this way, one of us will be right. You know,
Somehow we'll still be
yeah,
wrong.
yeah. It'll be like 6.6 or something.
Uh-huh.
What's your last bet of the week?
That was
It was okay.
my third
My
one.
last one is one of the hotter teams besides Iowa State in the Big 12, BYU -2 versus UCF. I think BYU can beat them. UCF looks better than I think we were saying last week, but I like that -2. That's a safe Vegas spread.
So it must be at UCF,
Mhm.
obviously. Do you see BYU's game this last Friday, I think?
Yes, but I fell asleep at the end. It was close.
Oklahoma State was up, I don't know, 4 or 5, maybe. Maybe 3. I can't remember. With about 30 seconds to go, BYU connects on a Mormon Hail Mary to win the game. I think it's like a 38-yard pass, actually. So not Hail Mary, but the win of like 30 seconds to go. So BYU barely escapes, just like Iowa
Yep.
State.
Yeah,
But the Cougars have looked Cougar hot.
okay. This is outside of bets of the week. This is outside of Iowa and Iowa State. Who do you think is the best team in college football right now?
Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know they have the most depth.
Definitely. And they've had the toughest schedule by far. Good wins good wins and a pretty good loss. I think that's safe to say. Oregon.
You know they're going to be most solid at every single position. They had that 30-point unanswered comeback against Alabama that kind of blew it there at the end. I've seen enough from Georgia. I believe that they will be our national champions.
Yep. At one point, I was going to say Ohio State. I went back and forth on Texas at one point. We've seen what Georgia versus Texas looks like, and I don't know if I need to see that again. I think you're right. I think those Bulldogs are going to be tough to beat later on in the season.
Bryce, we got an interesting draft this week. Last week what was our last week? Bar crawl. We did the bar crawl last week. Top 7 favorite bars in Iowa. That one gave us a lot of headaches. This week we have our top 7 favorite Iowa high school lunches growing up. And when I go to my list ranking, I'll explain as we go on. But I'm going to start with our number 7 here. Give me Taco Straw Hats. What a classic name to see on there. It wasn't my favorite, but there's a lot of lunches back in the day when I saw that. I'm like, oh my God. My mom would call in to get me out of lunch. I would write a note some days and go to Casey's to avoid some lunches. And Taco Straw Hats, I was there for. Sign me up. I liked it. It was okay. Nothing great, but I enjoy seeing the name.
That's funny because I actually had the same feeling about school lunch. Like I ate it. I was never going to complain about it. Like raised right. You don't complain about food, whatever. I did not like school lunch very much. And I truly don't know what a taco straw hat is.
I'm trying to remember. So they take like the scoop, right? Like an ice cream scoop of taco meat and just put it on your tray. And then they give you some like chips to the side of it.
Interesting.
with like some
Okay.
lettuce.
Yeah.
It's nothing,
Dude, school lunch is
nothing
crazy.
crazy.
It's like prison
Yeah.
food. My number 7 is um, Friday pizza day. And it's I honestly hated school lunch pizza, but it was like up there with probably as much good as anything. And if there was something to look forward to in school lunch, it was Friday pizza day for us.
Okay. I was gonna have you snake back, but my number 6 is
Okay.
pizza.
Yep. Good snake back.
Yeah, like I said, nothing crazy, but something I could eat.
Yep. Truly, like my list is like, was it edible? It's more so that kind of list. Uh,
Yeah, I'm right there with
this
you.
is one that's going to just absolutely throw you, and it's pre Michelle Obama school lunch change. Kinsey Elementary in Sioux Center, Iowa, had a smorgasbord, Swedish word, sandwich day, and it basically was an a la carte piece of bread with one little layer of butter and variety of deli meat. So you could like pick from like 6 different sandwiches.
Oh, they gave you
Yeah, but
options.
as like a third grader, you had to like tell your mom that you had smorgasbord sandwiches. Like that's a tough word for a little kid to say. But it wasn't a
Yeah.
bad day. And as a kid, you're good with a little deli meat.
Fall us back for your number 5.
Number 5, packed lunch. This was rare, and after talking to a few people, it was one of those things where it's sometimes tough to bring a packed lunch to school because you have to be the first one to sit down at the lunch table while everyone else goes through the line.
Yes.
But packed lunch, you could pretty much rely on your mom to pack you something up healthy that tastes good.
Yeah, were you getting some inside information from other people this week trying to figure out your
No,
rankings?
just before with some of the content gals, I was talking about my rankings and some of their favorites as well.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, no, amen to the part when you didn't. Everyone had to go through the line, and you're already halfway done for
hmm
lunch.
hmm
That was the best time of the day, sitting next to the boys and shooting
Right.
the
Like you didn't
shit.
want to waste that time.
Talk about talking about the Super Bowl that's going to happen out in the recess
Right.
parking lot right
Right.
after lunch, and you're missing half of that conversation because you're already done. So it was such a lonely
It's just
feeling.
tough to pack a lunch.
Number 5, chili and cinnamon roll
Ooh,
day,
yeah.
and I hate chili more than anything. Bryce, if I were there's 2 things that I'm confident in life. If I were to ever become president, I would abolish all village inns. I've stated that for
Yeah,
years,
you
haven't
hate
I?
Village Inn.
And number 2, I would make chili illegal.
Interesting.
And the only thing that it's on the list is because of cinnamon
Yep.
roll. So that was the thing at your school too?
It was, and you'll see it on my list. I love it. Every single week you have something like a little lower in your rankings, and it's like my 1 or 2. So I'll give my explanation for that later. But yes, I also have that on my list.
Because there's a lot of
Mhm.
controversy with that. A lot of people don't know the chili cinnamon roll
Definitely.
mix duo. But at school, when it was chili and cinnamon roll day, I had a couple boys that I would meet, or it was just a guarantee. Hey, I'll give you my chili, you give me your cinnamon roll. So I made it work
Yeah,
for
great
those
deal.
days. So I'd get 2 cinnamon rolls, 3 cinnamon rolls, and they would eat my chili.
Yeah, hey, power play there. I love that, and you made the most of school lunch. My number 4 is chicken strip or chicken nugget day, and that was pretty much like every third day. It felt like at Pella. Um, and the hack here was to take your little homemade roll and stack the chicken nuggets in between the roll with a little barbecue sauce or ketchup or something, and make like your own little chicken nugget sandwich. Not great, again, like it's school lunch, but it was a way to get by.
My number 4 is cheeseburger.
Yeah,
And you're going to see as we move forward in this list, people call me, or they used to call me, the pickiest person they've ever met in their life. And you'll find it real quickly from my 4 to 1 and
yeah.
why it
I have
was.
I have no complaints with cheeseburger. I think that was always a safe option, and honestly, kind of a
Hmm.
relief when you had that on the menu.
Yeah,
It's like,
no shit, dude. You never knew what you were
uh,
gonna walk into someday.
dude,
Looking at that that lunch schedule was so terrifying, especially when Obama
yeah,
took
it
over.
got so bad.
Oh
Like they're
man,
like, here's something healthier, and it was just like less of something that still was shitty. I
we
can't
were
get
being
over the like your
starved.
number 7. That taco haystack's still throwing me for a loop. Um,
Yeah,
was that your number 3?
that was my
Okay.
number 4. You want me to go back with 3?
My number 3 was chicken noodle over mashed potato.
Go ahead. Oh, chicken
Yeah.
noodle. Yeah,
Well,
chicken noodle good.
it wasn't bad. Honestly, it was like
They just did they give you very little of
they
it?
give you a very little of it, but it actually resembled real food,
Uh-huh.
which was like was
Yeah.
nice.
Okay, my number 3 is just a hot dog. Literally, once again, just because it was edible, we made it work.
I'm being dead serious too. I hated school lunch.
Dude, when I said we were gonna do this list, I was actually pumped up. I'm like, yeah, I think there's some good options. And the more I dug in it, I'm like, oh my god, I hated my life.
It's so bad. It's
We
truly
used
like
to
prison food.
my senior year, we had an open campus, and we went to Pizza Ranch 4 out of 5 days
Yeah.
every single week. I'm not even joking. Yeah, if it wasn't Pizza Ranch, it was KFC
Yep.
because we.
Was that just senior year for you guys? You could like open and roll lunch basically. Yeah,
Uh huh.
we would do that too. We even got the moms of the friend group to make us lunch on game day, and that saved us a lot of school lunches. One mom each Friday, I think it was, would make like a lunch for everybody.
You're
Yep.
saved.
You got number 2?
Yeah, chicken patty. Um, which is my yeah, I love chicken patties. It was good.
Yeah,
There's only 2
that's
things I'm
true. That was
necessarily
good.
like, and it's my top
Hey,
2. Chicken
I'm
patties
gonna
were great.
focus up and say that was that was good. Okay, it's not that funny. Chicken patty was good. Walking taco number 2.
Okay.
And honestly, it kind of sounds like your taco haystack a little bit, but like it just had the bag, and it was kind of like I think Pella was a little, a little early to the walking taco game. I was impressed.
We
It was
did.
pretty decent,
We need pictures of, like, what the tray looked like of
dude.
all this food on there, and then it's how bland it looked.
That's what killed me. Is like it truly just looked like prison food.
That was
That
your
was
number
my number
2?
2.
Okay, do you want me to go 1 or you?
My number 1 is the one you've already said, chili and cinnamon rolls. I'm not a chili hater. Always been a fan, but truly that Northwest Iowa cinnamon roll hits different.
My number 1 is chicken nuggets. It every guy in our grade had every guy chicken nuggets were
Yes, they
awesome.
were.
Every guy in our grade had a girl, and, in our class that we had a buddy
Okay.
system. And, so we knew it was chicken nugget day. "Hey, I'm getting your nuggets. Whatever you don't eat, you come to me. Bring me your nuggies." And us men, we would just we'd scrap them down, and we'd be looking over at the girl table, waiting for them to
Yep.
finish, and we'd all go over, plead our case. "Give me your nuggets, please, please." Oh, it was yeah. I already know Aaron Quinlan was my buddy system. Shout out to Aaron. Aaron, she always hooked me up with her
Hooking
nuggies.
up with the nuggies. Thanks, Aaron. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Anything like chicken patty, chicken nugget, that got you through the day. Nate, this was a tougher list than
mm,
I thought. It truly took me like 25, 30 minutes to fill out this list because I'm like, one, I have to look up what the school lunches were because I have no fond memories from those days.
no, no, we did. Should have done a top 7 worst
Yes, that would be easy. You
lunch.
know, what would be on my worst would be
Uh-huh.
the Crispito. And I know this is like,
Oh, dude, they
dude, so
sucked.
bad. And
They were that was
yeah,
prison food.
truly, and
The
people love them. Like,
Crispitos.
people swear by the Crispito. I'm like, "That shit was so bad." It was the guy, the Florida State guy that had to eat the dog crap? Like, that's what it reminds me of. It
Mhm.
was, like, just brown sludge. It wasn't meat.
Uh-huh. No, that shit was disgusting, dude. One of my worst was this ham and cheese bland
Yeah.
sandwich. Just feeling empty. The rest of my school day was
Yep.
terrible.
Yep. It just was so tough. And, you get into high school and you can do, like, the à la carte, like, choose your lunch kinda thing, and you just had to go with a fastball every day. You couldn't have any junk because, man, there's just so slim pickings, but, yeah, this was a tough list, man.
I'd be curious to see how they look nowadays. Do they still
I
look
I
like
actually
this? I
looked up
wonder.
the Pella School lunch menu. It looks very similar to when we were in school. I don't think a whole lot has changed,
Okay.
unfortunately.
I would love to go back for one day just
Well,
to look at
I
it.
told the gals doing content to go to the Cedar Falls high school lunch and do school lunch and just see what's changed and what's the same.
Oh, well, I'm glad we got through that. We have a huge week for the
We do.
boys.
I'm so excited for the Halloween party. I think I'm coming up Friday afternoon, and then we've got a whole evening of festivities planned.
Yeah, Scott, I'm going to take our headshot here.
Yeah.
Scott, we're going to talk a little more details for the Halloween party. I know at some point this week we're going to go do some shopping, get some
Nice.
decorations, get geared up for the big party. I
Okay,
can't
give
wait.
me a little rundown on the schedule because I watched your hype video for the party, which was some of the best short film work I've seen done in many, many years. When does the party start and where, and when does it end?
I don't know. I don't know
Okay.
anything. That's why I think we're gonna figure it out. So we do know. I don't know. I don't know if we're meeting at somebody's house and then we're gonna go to the office. I'm guessing we might maybe probably meet at
Okay.
Scotty's, or can you not because of the cat?
No, I'll be fine. I'll take my meds and I'll be drinking, so I'll be
Okay.
okay. All I
Okay.
know is I'm showing up around 3:00, 3:30 on Friday, and I'm excited to see everybody. It's going to be great. Not too cold for shirtless / sleeveless outfits. And then, yeah, next week is the big Halloween outfit pod.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't wait to bust out the outfit in front of the camera to show the people what we got. Like I said, I still got to go do some shopping at Goodwill, see if I can't pull the little last string together to make mine acceptable to go into
Yeah,
a bar.
yeah. I'm sure you'll find a way. You have been a consecutive runner up at costume parties, and sometimes deservedly should be number one. So I have no worries that you'll find a way to make that costume work.
And quick shout out to my brother for last year, pulling off the number one at Roxy's in front of what, a couple hundred people he beat,
Yeah.
taking number one.
Yep. Didn't redeem his thing,
He
but
was
was he Wagerman Jensen from SpongeBob?
he was number one,
That was a great outfit.
and the whole bar. He was number one. He one of
Yeah.
the most lit moments I remember from Halloween. Yeah, favorite. I think it's close up there with Christmas, but the reason I love it so much because it kicks off the holiday
Yep.
schedule.
Yep.
Next month you got Thanksgiving, then you got Christmas, so that'll last for the whole month, and then you got New Year's
Mhm.
Eve, and then it becomes really depressing here in the state of Iowa.
Yep. Yeah. Then it's the dog days, but yeah, Halloween's great. Pumped for the party. Good pod. I'm glad. I didn't think we were going to be able to finish during school lunch segment.
Oh Jesus Christ! I didn't think it was that bad until we started talking about it, and you started picturing the sad tray, with the little food on it. And I remember talking, I'm like, "This is prison." I was part of the lunch committee, and because we bitched about it so much that we actually formed a lunch
Mhm.
committee. And I just remember saying, "I want more chicken nuggets on there."
Yeah, it's
On
the
this
one thing
menu.
that could get you through the week. Okay, one more. I did remember this. You did a giveaway on the Iowa Chill Show Instagram.
Oh
When do you
yes,
plan to announce the winner of that?
yes. I need to go find the golf
Okay.
balls. I need to go count the golf balls. So they're actually in Madison's car right now. I was trying to call her because I forgot to take them out of my
Okay.
car. But they're my wife's car. I'm gonna go grab them right after I get my street tacos. Street taco Monday for your boy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna count them right here, and I should be announcing here hopefully no later than early evening, late
Okay, sounds
afternoon.
great. Thanks for everyone that participated in the. I want to say I said 393, so I'm kind of curious what you end up counting there.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's enough to lower the back end of your trunk of your
Okay.
car.
Interesting. Hey, good pod, man. Look forward to seeing you this Friday.
Yeah, can't wait. We're gonna be touching some details here real soon. I'll be checking out the Facebook page for some more
All right.
information.
Have a good week.
Yep, you too, Bubs.